and welcome to episode 2 of Utter Yarnage, my crochet podcast where I just talk about everything that I'm currently doing with yarn in my life. So it's the second week of lockdown. We've just got down to the second week, and you're with me today. It's the 5th of April, Sunday the 5th of April. It's the start of what would have been the Easter school holidays. Got another rainbow jumper on. I've got a different set of Bethy Boo Crochet earrings in, and my roots have also grown a lovely extra centimetre this week, so they're looking lovely. So that's how you're joining me this week. I'm going to try and make this a bit better this week. Last week you may have noticed that I was a bit nervous, didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of just took the plunge and just filmed myself whilst all my family were out of the house. And I obviously missed out quite a lot of things and may not have been as clear as I would want to be about different things happening in my life. So I'm going to take this opportunity now to introduce myself, which I didn't do last week. My name is Bethy. I'm 23. I'm living in Oxfordshire at the moment. It's been lovely weather this weekend, which is a shame because people can't go out and enjoy it as much as they would have done. But actually, for those of us with a garden, and I'm very grateful that I do, it's been lovely to just be outside and enjoy our environment in the lovely weather. I'm currently studying a PGCE in 5 to 11, so I'm going to be a primary school teacher. Obviously, that's all had to come to a bit of a, well, not an end, because we're still going to be finishing our PGCE this year. It's just going to be very different, not being around children and not teaching children as part of our course. My next placement, 8-week placement in a school, was due to start on the 27th of April, and that is not going ahead. So we're going to be doing everything that we can do from home, planning imaginary lessons. But obviously that's not how I saw my PGCE year going, so that's been quite hard for me to come to terms with, that I'm finishing my teacher training without a class. But I'm very much looking forward to qualifying this summer and having my own class in September. So that's a positive thing, is that at some point there's going to be a class that are going to be sick of my rainbows and my crochet at some point. Prior to this year, I was a TA in Swindon and a casual cover supervisor. So I would take lessons when teachers were ill, or if they were in meetings, or in PPA. And that's how I knew that I wanted to do my teacher training, because people said to me, if you can enjoy being a TA, then you'll enjoy being a teacher, which is very much true. When I was a TA, all I wanted to do was just teach the class and have them to myself. So that was a really positive year for me. I met some really lovely people who are friends for life. One of my best friends in the world I met when I was a TA, and she's currently in Swindon at the moment. Hello Alice, my lovely friend. Prior to being a TA, I was at University of Southampton, and I acquired a first class joint honours degree in politics and international relations. Obviously not going into politics, but who's to say that I won't in the future. Very much interested in education policy and how we are teaching our next generation of children at the moment. I don't necessarily agree with everything that we're doing. Hopefully this time we've got in quarantine might shine a light on the way that we're educating our children. I've got my lovely family of Clarkies. We've got my mum Sally, my dad Phil, and my brother Will. And then my lovely partner Ben, who probably won't want me to tell you what he does as a job, but let's just say that he's keeping us all very safe whilst we're at home at the moment. He's a frontline worker, so thank you, Ben, for everything you're doing for our community at the moment, keeping us all safe at home. I just want to thank you all for watching my podcast last week. I was blown away by the amount of people that watched it and who are actually interested in what I have to say about crocheting. There are over 100 of you who watched my first episode. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate all the comments and messages that I've been receiving about it, and it means a lot to me that people found it interesting. I just want to also thank my brother Will for helping me edit it. He is a editor for a company, an entertainment company in London. So obviously I'm very lucky and fortunate that my brother could help me with my first video, and he's taught me a lot of methods of editing, so I'm really thankful for that. So without further ado, let's just get straight on to crochet news now that I've introduced myself. So I'd just like to say that last week I was taking part in the crochet flower-a-thon for Crochet on Instagram. She managed to crochet for 24 hours straight from 8 AM until the following day at 8 AM, and that's just absolutely amazing, and I think she should be really proud of herself, and even more so that she has actually raised £869 for the mental health charity Mind, which is very important at the moment. It's always important, but even now, especially with people at home in isolation, they're definitely going to be suffering from different mental health issues. So it's a really important charity, and a charity that's very important to my heart, and I just think it's amazing that she's managed to raise that much money already. Her target is £1,000, so she started a little thing where if you want to send a loved one or a friend one of the flowers from the flower-a-thon, if you donate £2 to the Just Giving page that I will link in the description after this, if you'd like to donate £2, she will send a flower to the person that you would like to send a bit of joy and happiness to in the post, which I think is a lovely thing to do. So if you'd like to donate a bit of money to mental health charity Mind, then just consider that as a nice thing to do. So well done, Liv. I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing. And I have sent some of my flowers that I made last weekend, as many as I could fit into an envelope. I sent them to her, so hopefully they'll get to her safely. Let's move on to things I've been doing this week. So last week I introduced you to my isolation creation blanket. So this is how big it is now. Last week I was talking to you about adding these two colours in. So as you can see, I have finished that whole row down the bottom and then started a new one. And I think it's coming along quite nicely, and the colours that I choose are dependent upon my mood and what I think would look good next to the colours around them. So there are a few random colours in there, but it's just nice to just not have a plan for how this is going and just add to it each day. The colours I'm going to add today, I'm going to add the sage colour just here in this space here, and then I'm going to add this kind of like deep purple in the space just here. So that's how this is progressing. I've had a few friends of mine say that this is actually inspired them to take up crochet because it's such an easy and simple pattern, and you can kind of add to it as and when and not really have like a proper plan. So that's great that I've inspired a few people to pick up crochet. I also spoke to you last week about the basket weave piece of fabric that I created, and that I was going to make it into a clutch bag for my mum. This week I've had the opportunity to sew it all together, so now it's actually looking a bit more like a clutch bag, and I've added this beautiful wooden button with some flowers printed onto it into the centre. So now actually if you can open it and the flap, and then I sewed up both sides, tried to do it as invisible seam if I could, so you can't actually see where I've sewn it together. So it's quite sizable, and you could definitely fit like a bit of makeup and a hairbrush in there. The only thing that I need to do now is just add a strap, but I think that rather than crocheting it, I will get some fabric out of my fabric stash and make a bit more of a substantial, sturdy strap. My mum's requested that it's not just a short one, that it's quite long so that she can put it over her body and then have it as like a bit of a side bag. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out, and it was a really simple way to do a bag, and it's quite a sturdy fabric actually, so I'm happy with how that went. I also asked around on a few crochet pages I'm on Facebook what to do with the tail ends of yarn when you're finished. So as you can see, I've got a lot of like tail ends of yarn that I cut off once I've finished like a section of crochet. So I asked on a few crochet pages that I'm a member of what people do with these, and I had some brilliant answers back. People are so creative. So a friend of mine who works at a nursery where I live locally, she said that the children use the tiny bits of yarn to create like artwork and collages and to use it. So I've sorted the pieces that I've got into smaller pieces that I'm collecting for her so that she can use it at nursery, which I think is a brilliant idea because I love the colours in here and I can imagine children like just fiddling with it, which is really cool. So I've sorted out a bag for her which I'm adding to as I'm crocheting, so that's really cool that I can send that to her and she's going to use it. The longer pieces, someone suggested to me that I combine the pieces with a magic knot. I'm not going to explain how to do a magic knot on here because I haven't got into tutorials yet. I'm just doing podcast videos, but if you're interested in me doing some tutorials, then I'm more than happy to. Just let me know in the comments. So someone said to me to combine the longer pieces with magic knot, and so longer pieces being a bit like this piece here, where it's not really big enough to make anything out of, but I don't want to throw it away, I want to use it. And then to combine it with another colour, for example, that's going to be left over, and make a rainbow yarn. And this is what I've come up with. So I combined all the colours that I had left over with magic knots, and then I've crocheted using half trebles, working in front loops only, working in flow. And I've just created this really skinny scarf, and my mum has asked if I can do it for her. I think I might get to the end of it and actually be really jealous and want to keep it for myself. But so I've just been combining the colours and then working backwards and forwards up, and I think it's actually made like a really cool little project that I can keep working to. So this piece is left over and this will be combined to whatever colour I add next, and then I'll just keep crocheting until it's a scarf length. So that's really cool, and I'm happy that I'm you know, repurposing yarn that would otherwise be thrown away, because I'm trying to avoid throwing things away at the moment. So that's another project that started. I've also added to my earring collection this week. So I just love making crochet earrings, as you can probably tell. I love wearing all the different designs that my brain comes up with. So I've sold a few rain clouds this week. I don't know why, but quite often I find on my Depop page where I sell my earrings that people go through like trends of wanting to buy like a certain design, and the rain clouds have not been very popular for the last couple of years, but recently over the last month I've had quite a few requests for them. So these are what I mean. So they're like a little cloud, and then I make little raindrops that hang down. And they're really cool. I kind of made them just because I was interested in them, but actually a few people have, you know, started buying them now. So I've sent a couple of pairs this week. So that's been quite nice, is that I've sent a few pairs and making a little bit of pocket money for myself. I also had a few like random flowers lying around, so I've put them onto some hooks this week, and they're going to be available to buy. So these are some little like just simple purple flowers, so they're available. And then I made myself a pair as well. I just loved this colour combination so much, and so I just had to make myself a pair. So you know, you've got like quite a turquoisey colour here with like a deep red and then a mustard colour in the middle, and I just absolutely love them. So I've been wearing these this week. So they're really cool. And then my mum also put in an order this week as well for some teal love hearts, like the ones I'm wearing. So that's these ones. So they're really cute. And also she wanted a pair of blue flowers like this, like these ones, but with dark blue, like a denim blue, and then a light blue in the centre. So I've made my mum a pair of those. I have silver sterling hooks available because my mum is allergic to most metals that have nickel in. So it's just best to use sterling silver with my mum. So I have some hooks available if anybody wants sterling silver. The ones that I use for myself and for as standard are surgical steel, and I've never had any complaints that they cause rashes or redness. So these are the ones I use normally, and they're surgical steel. So that's the ones that come as standard. But yeah, so I've had a nice time making a few pairs of earrings this week for people. Last week I spoke about my woodland blanket that I've been making for my mum and dad's caravan. So I thought I'd actually bring it up and show you this week so that you can actually have a look at what I mean. So let me just get it for you. So this is what I'm talking about. It's quite long now, so I can't actually speak to you whilst holding it up. But I absolutely love working on this. It's just beautiful, like the colours. I just love autumn colours. I'm an autumn baby. My birthday's in October, so I've always loved autumn, and you know, the way that the trees go in that time, the leaves and everything. So when I saw this colourway, I was just absolutely infatuated with it. And my mum and dad love it too, so I'm really happy about how this is going. The way that Attic 24 designs this pattern is that you can do it in random stripes, or you can follow her colour wash, where it goes from kind of like browns, greys, oranges and greens up to blues and lighter greens, and it's meant to be like the woodland floor with all of the vegetation and the trees working its way up to the sky. And I just really liked the colour wash, so I'm following the colour wash pattern rather than random stripes. So let me just show you my notebook, which has got the plan for this blanket. So last week I held up my notebook and I showed you all the sample for the woodland blanket, which is here. So this is what I did when I was looking at the tension of my crochet hook and how tight I crochet things, and then I could adjust the blanket size accordingly. I've actually managed to keep it exactly how she intended for the blanket, so I haven't had to change anything. In the pack of yarn that comes, she lists all the colours that you need, which come in the pack, and like I said, I just cut off a little bit of each of the yarn and stick it up next to the name so that I know what colour she's talking about in the pattern, and then I can choose that one accordingly. This is the colour wash that I'm talking about. I've stapled over it, but as you can see, it works up from the darker colours all the way up to light, so that it looks like the woodland working itself into the sky, and I just really like that. Underneath here I just write down some details about what I need. So I started this back in January 2018. I've been very busy, so I've been doing lots of other projects during that time. I said that it was for myself, but I've changed that, obviously it's for my mum and dad now. This is the crochet hook size that I'm using, which is a 4mm, and then you need 15 balls of 100 grams, which is what I came in the kit. I also write down the washing instructions, and then the sample dimensions, and then how many you need to start the starting chain with, and then I've written for the colour order, see the back of the book. So at the back of here I write down every single colour in order of the colour wash, and as I crochet them into the blanket I tick off each of them in turn. So I've just got to row 60 and finish that one, which was meadow. So the next row 61, is going to be gold, and I will show you that now. So this is the meadow colour that I've just finished, row 60, and this is the gold colour, which is going to be coming next. So we've got a series of colours here. And what I will say, is that I would never put this combination of colours together normally. However, in the context of the whole blanket, I think it works really nicely. So we have spice, tomato, lime, gold, pistachio, spice and meadow, and then gold will come next. I've never normally been a fan of this spice colour and the lime colour, but I'm actually going to really like them. And this pistachio colour is just really nice as well, and that's the first time this colour has been used in the blanket. So I'm getting to the point now where the colours are going to start getting lighter and blend into the blues that come in the sky section. So yeah, I'm just really happy with how this is coming on. I love doing this in the evening, so I keep this downstairs, and then when we watch TV as a family, or if I watch films during the day, I add this as and when. So it's an ongoing thing. I like sitting down and doing my crochet projects up here slightly differently. So last week I said that I was going to be finishing a few projects and then starting my granny square jumper, the rainbow granny square. So as you can see, I have finished quite a few things this week, or at least very nearly finished them. So I've started the rainbow granny square jumper, which is just like all the colours that I love, and obviously loving rainbows, it's definitely going to be something I wear a lot. So let me just show you. So the pattern says that you should do a front panel, so this is the front panel of the jumper. Okay. And then you do a back panel completely identically, apart from the fact that the colours go the other way. So rather than starting with red and then working your way through the rainbow colours, you do it backwards. So I've started with the raspberry colour, and then I'm doing blue, green, and then orange, and then a red will come here. So it's just the opposite way, but the size will be exactly the same as this one. And then you do two smaller squares for the sleeves, and then you combine them using white seams, and then on the bottom of here will be a hem of white, and the back will have a hem of white as well, which will be slightly longer. So it's longer at the back than at the front. But this literally, I started it on Friday evening and it's now Sunday. So I finished a whole panel and started the next one. So it's definitely a quick pattern. I would say that most beginners would be able to make a jumper like this. It's really, really simple. The Simply Crochet pattern that I bought, I believe her name is Hannah Cross, but I might have got that wrong. I can link the pattern in the description for anyone who wants to have a go. Says that it's easy peasy, so that means that anybody who is a new crocheter can have a go. And I just think it's a really quick and fun pattern to make. So much so that my mum has requested that I make one for her. So last week I showed you a big ball of wool that I didn't really know what to do with after I'd finished the clutch bag. So this one, you may remember, my big ball of wool. And so I'm going to be using this in replace of the white in this, and then she's asked for just random colours, a bit like my isolation creation, so blues, purples, greens, in between each of the pink stripes. And because this one took so quick to make, like it was so quick to work up, I'm definitely going to get the jumper done for my mum quite quickly. And it's just a really versatile pattern. The size goes all the way from size 8 up to 22, which also is very inclusive. I like patterns that will include every body size and shape, so that's really good that everybody can essentially make it and wear it, which is a really cool thing. So that's everything that I've been working on this week. I've made a lot of progress with my crochet this week, in amongst doing university work and all the other bits and bobs we've had to do around the house. In terms of my future plans for crochet, I'm just going to finish everything that I'm working on at the moment, but I have seen an amazing knitting project, and like I said, I'm not a very confident knitter. I do like it, but I want to have a go at getting better, and I want to improve my skills. So on Instagram there's an account called Gregoria Fibres, which has created a beautiful lace vest. and I'll put the picture here so you can have a look. And I just think it'd be a really great project for me to have a go at, and I've got everything that I need for it. I just need to sit down and properly work out what all the terminology means and have a go at doing it. It might not come to anything. I just thought I would have a go at doing some knitting and see if I can make another garment, which I will definitely wear, especially in the autumn months with my first class. So that's something that I want to start, but we'll see how all my other projects go. One thing I just want to say before I sign out is that the Great Western Hospital in Swindon have put an appeal out for knitted, crochet and sewn hearts, love hearts. They've asked for this because in the intensive care unit at the moment, families can't see their loved ones who are suffering from coronavirus, which is just horrible, and I think it's one of the worst things that we're going to have to deal with, you know, with this outbreak that's going on at the moment. And I couldn't imagine not seeing my family if they were ill in hospital. So what they've asked for is that anybody who can knit, crochet or sew a love heart about this big, 2 in the same colour, and one of the love hearts will go to the patient and the other love heart will stay with the family. And it's one of those things that will have like a bit of a connection between the two, like the patient and the family both know that they have a love heart in the same colour, and I just think it's a really lovely idea. So Ben's mum, Janeg, hello Jan, she's asked me that I could show her how to make a crochet love heart, and I think later this week we're going to have a go at making some up and then sending them to the Great Western Hospital. I'll put all the details in the description if anybody would like to have a go. I think they'd just be really thankful for anything that they receive, and what they'll do when they arrive is if you put it in a plastic wallet, they will keep them in the plastic for 3 days and they won't touch the love hearts until the 3 days are up, so that obviously anything that the love hearts do have on them will have died off by that point. Obviously they're going to be very careful with that kind of thing, so I wouldn't worry about that side of things. But if you would like to contribute, then I'll put all the information in the description and you can have a go and just see if you have an interest in that. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for coming and listening to me again. I've had a really lovely week, and I will put a funny video at the end of this where my brother had a go at winding some yarn for me this week. It's quite therapeutic actually, and I think he knew that it was going to help me, so he had a go, and I'll put that clip at the end so you can have a little look. But thank you so much for watching me this week, and I'll see what I get up to over the next week, and I'll see you then. Bye!